Tonight is part of the Being Human Festival that's being run nationally. It's the first national festival of the humanities. And there are various, if you go onto the website, you'll find the various other events happening in Oxford, but also nationally, should you wish to go further during this week. Now, as Stephen has said, the event tonight is being run by a project I direct, which is called Constructing Scientific Communities, Citizen Science in the 19th and the 21st Century. And it's very generously funded by the Arts and Humanities Research Council. This project is linked to both Oxford in the English faculty and also physics, with Leicester University, and also in partnership with three institutions in London, the Royal Society, the Royal College of Surgeons, and also the Natural History Museum. So what is the idea behind this project? As Stephen has mentioned, citizen science has become a very popular term recently. I don't know whether any of you have already gone on Zooniverse, absolutely wonderful platform, which allows people across the globe to go on in the comfort of their own homes, onto their computers, and to become scientists themselves. You enter, and virtually immediately you are asked, you can go on snapshot Serengeti, very difficult to say, and spot wild animals and identify them. Or you can trace planets, very topical with the Rosetta at the moment. And this citizen science movement has grown and grown in recent times. The Zooniverse itself now has, I think, 1.3 million people participating across the world. And Victoria Van Heining will say a bit more about this later. And so it opens up all sorts of questions about what is it to be a scientist? Because I think we've become used to the notion that a scientist is someone in a university trapped away doing very, very professional things that most of us cannot possibly hope to understand. And what lies behind the collaboration between ourselves and people doing Zooniverse is the historical perspective that I come to it from the 19th century, and I realised there were really strong parallels, because in the 19th, this was before professional science was really set up. It was the beginnings of professionalisation, but you still got very talented amateur. Almost that word doesn't make sense in the 19th century, because the divisions between amateur and professional weren't really set up. But what you had was many, many individuals from all walks of life participating in science, whether it be the local naturalist club, which could be a local vicar and a village worthies, but it could also be the working class members who go out at the weekend, who find their specimens, and who in fact create a lineage that goes right through to now of finding the biodiversity. The records nationally for biodiversity are still in amateur hands, very interesting. Or it could be the people measuring meteorology. One person set up a network right across the UK with 3,000 observers who daily read the readings for various elements of meteorology, which are now absolutely foundational for climate science. And so you find all sorts of ways in which they're participating. So what we're trying to look at is how the public participated in science then, and what possibilities there could be now, and to bring the two together. So I hope that tonight you're going to have a really fun evening, learning a bit about the ways in which people participated in the past, and also yourselves participating in quizzes and other fun activities.